So you just need to accept it.
Okay,
Okay,
I just did.
great. So wonderful. So Bill, I'm meeting you for the first time, but it's been already a lovely connect because I've been following you on your Instagram uh, with your handle Ho'oponopono Bill. Yeah. So welcome. I'm
Yes.
Shilpi and I live in India. And you can introduce yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio,
Okay.
um, and I'm retired. And I got into Ho'oponopono about 16, 17 years ago. And
Okay.
I was fortunate enough that after the book Zero Limits came out, I got to be in the first class that Dr. Hugh Len taught. So
Okay.
that was kind of neat.
Right, amazing. So I have also purchased the courses, recorded courses brought out by Dr. Hewlin and Dr. Joe Vitale, and I'm sure
Right.
next time I'll probably watch them. I'm going to look out for you. Okay. Yeah,
Well,
I've.
I wasn't in the classes with Joe
Oh,
Vitale.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
We looked for a place to sign up and we found one in Charlotte and Dr. Hugh Len would come there like every year and
okay,
talk to 20 or 30 people. Well, after the book
okay.
came out, there were over 300 people showed up. So they had
Wow.
to go to a hotel and everything. It was cool.
Wow, that's interesting. And I'm so happy that we just aligned and connected on Insta. It's a great way of connecting. So tell me, how have your experiences been ever since you started practicing Ho'oponopono? How was it in the beginning when you got to know about Ho'oponopono? What was the experience?
Well, we heard about it in a lecture, my wife and I, and
Okay,
since they mentioned Hawaii, which was her favorite place, we had to go
okay,
check it out, and we just fell in love with it. We were gonna teach it together and do stuff like that, and unfortunately, she passed away a couple years ago, so
okay.
I
So
decided just
sorry.
to go ahead and do it on my own, and
Okay.
it's been fun. It's I'm fascinated because everything from little things to big things happen, and it's like seriously, it's so unexplainable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
It,
share
it's, it's
some of the something that really stays with you. What do you do on a regular basis? How do you practice Ho'oponopono on a regular basis? Every day,
I
like.
I I'm constantly saying I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. When
Okay.
they were when they did the original Ho'oponopono by Mona Simeona, she started with I'm sorry. When
Hmm.
Dr. Hugh Len took over after Morna died, he moved I love you up to the beginning just because he thought if you're going to talk to your inner child, you should start out with love.
Right.
So
So beautiful.
that was pretty easy to buy into. But we had a lot of experiences. I mean, just recently, I had a friend that had written a book, and he stopped over and gave me a copy, and I was going to give him my Ho'oponopono books, but we got to talking, and I forgot, and he's walked out, got in his car, and I ran out the front door, but he's driving away,
Okay.
I'm thinking, what? I got to give him one. Well, then he turned the wrong way, and he
Okay.
turned down a
And then,
cul-de-sac, so I just went over by the stop sign because I knew it was a dead end. He had to come back. So I was
okay.
like, I mean, just that's just a little thing, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
every there's just a lot of smoothness to my life. I have
Sure.
to admit,
Sure.
it fascinates. It just fascinates me. I don't have a lot of big things to work on, and the ones I did, I had problem when my father died. I had a sister-in-law that decided here's the way everything should be done, and we said
Mm-hmm.
no,
Mm.
and she
Okay.
caused a lot of problems. So I just cleaned on that, and we got through it real peacefully and everything. And it's not that I invite her over all the time or anything, but we got through the funeral and everything peacefully,
Right. Right. Right.
which was what we were intending to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
I Yeah, I just remember, I mean, I had to share that with you again. I'm just bringing it up over here that on the night before my father passed on, you messaged asking for my address, and that completely centered me again to share your book with a friend who was sitting beside me and whose mom was also who was in the ICU. And sitting outside the ICU is sometimes can be very, very terrifying. But I
Yes.
think with Ho'oponopono, this young girl, Aisha and me, so what I do sometimes is I take beats and we count and we do, we just do Ho'oponopono sometimes just with a little music. Or we also,
Mhm.
there's a way also that you recite. And we actually did that. And we said, okay, while we do it for our respective parents, let's also clean the hospital, with Ho'oponopono. And we did it for close to like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. It felt very good. It felt relieved. What I like also about Ho'oponopono is that you're not telling anyone anything. You're not telling anyone, no instructions at all. You're just,
No.
because a lot of us, I mean, if I look back on my life, I think when I go back and connect to my inner child, I always feel there's a lot of instructions I'm asked to follow. Do it like this,
Yes.
sit like this. This is not the way to behave. This is not, especially in India, this is not the way girls behave. Girls have to be very careful. They have to be guarded. They have to be, so it's a very introverted environment that we've actually grown up into, and then later on when you grow up and you enjoy yourself and you become confident, versatile, you start loving yourself. And I think all of this self-love is coming much, much later, and I think Ho'oponopono for me brought out that happy inner child. Every day I try and connect to myself, and of course with a lot of love. Many years ago, again, when my father was, in the last few years, he was getting admitted in the hospital a whole lot of times. And I remember a cousin called me and said, just do, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Just start with I love you. And even if you want, just do I love you. So this is how Ho'oponopono kind of trickled into my life. But I
Mhm.
wanted to know more. I just didn't want to know the four sentence. I wanted to know more. And I think that's how this whole yearning or seeking, started. And I did a couple of courses in India. And then I found about Dr. Joe Vitale and Dr. Hewlin's recorded courses. I accepted those. I, worked on those. I mean, I would hear them. But I think more important was the practice, right? The practice and experiencing and believing it. So that's it. And of course,
And,
encountering you.
and and acting on it too. I mean,
Acting on it. Yes, yes,
what was the reason I contacted you that night?
yes.
Well,
Yeah,
it was like, of all the times I could have called you or
yes,
messaged you, it was that
yes,
night.
yes.
So
I mean,
that fascinates me.
absolutely. And I'm like, oh my God, look at him. And I was so taken aback, and it again centered me on, listen, Shilpi, if you are in the hospital, your one and sole purpose is to clean on the energies in the hospital. I also want to share that while in the process of learning Ho'oponopono and receiving my certification, one of the things was to create YouTube videos. Okay. So I created a whole lot of YouTube videos. And so my father was undergoing about endoscopic procedures. I mean, there were 4 in a row. It was crazy, scary. Okay. And I was sitting outside the endoscopic procedure room, and the TV was on, and there was something random going on. There were a few people sitting there. I just took the remote and I said, you know what? Instead of just going through something, let me turn on my YouTube videos and let me do Ho'oponopono with myself on the YouTube. And it was so amazing. So, and there were people sitting next to me, and I asked him, do you know about Ho'oponopono? Yeah, I think we know. So we did Ho'oponopono, and that's what I felt about technology today. If you're aligned in the right way and if you're aligned with a lot of love, you can access yourself anywhere, and
Yes.
we did the Ho'oponopono cleaning, and it was so simple. And so, at least for that moment, the fear came out. There is so much of fear. And I've realized, Bill, in the last few times that I've been ever since I've got to know about Ho'oponopono, there is so much of fear. And I'm like, oh my God, where does this fear come from? Where have I attracted this fear from? I don't know.
Well, and one of the thing I've noticed, I've been doing it for about, like I say, 17 years, is as you clean on the memories that you're having problems with,
Yes.
then sometimes the memories that you hadn't had for years have a chance to
Mm,
resurface. And it's like,
mm.
why did that come up? I hadn't thought of that since I was 15,
Yeah, yeah.
so that fascinates me, but then you clean on it, and move
Yes.
on. But it's just, there's just so much in there,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you got to
yeah,
deal with.
yeah. You got to deal with it. So, for instance, I have a lot of, do you know how to swim, Bill? Do you swim?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay. So I've been
To
trying
me,
to learn.
yeah,
Sorry.
swimming to me, swimming is staying alive while I'm in the water.
Okay. Okay. So I'm very scared of water. Every time I've tried to enter the pool, I'll come back with a ear filled with water. My ears are filled with water or something. There's excessive fear. But even though, so that's something, even though I tell the water, I love you, and then the water saying, okay, take action and float. And I'm like, no, I can't. So forget it. Get out of the water. So I guess as much as you want to practice, but I think action is very important. So the places where you can take action easily, safely, effortlessly, I feel I'm like, okay to go with that as well. So tell me,
Well,
what else? Yeah, sure.
I will admit that I mean, there's times I forget, like when my wife was in the hospital,
Okay.
sometimes the pressure is so tense that you just forget. Look, you know what to do, but you don't think
Yeah,
about it.
you don't think
So
about it.
you
Yeah,
start focusing on different things, and you need a quiet time where all of a sudden you're sitting there like, okay, you know what to do. I love you. I'm sorry, and you start doing that. But I can see where there's moments where it's hard to
it's hard. I agree with that.
hard to come back to where you need to be.
I agree, to the place of zero,
Yeah.
or the place where you can really align with the divine. So I agree with you. But one of the really some of the good things is, like, earlier when I would meet my father's doctor, I would be very apprehensive because he would be a little too maybe that's his personality. So it would come across as someone who's very aggressive or who's super confident about what he knows. And sometimes as a patient or as a family of the patient, you just want to be received with a lot more kindness and calmness.
Hmm.
And that would not happen. And but when I started doing Ho'oponopono focusedly for the doctor, I mean, I would think about the doctor and do Ho'oponopono, or I would just do Ho'oponopono, and I realized my energy started changing, and I became more relaxed and more calm. And then we would actually run into conversation. So I just felt, okay, it was the onus
Yes.
was on me, rather than my perspective about him again must have come from some memory, old memory, past memory. So I just started saying, okay, I got to clean on it, I got to clean on it. And it's became so much easier. It became so much easier. I also wanted to
Yes.
ask you, there are also new Ho'oponopono terms, like so I know seaport is something they use, erase. Do you use it as well?
Right. I do not.
Okay.
When I took the course, one of the things that struck me the most was when he was in the prison and was doing Ho'oponopono on the files and everything.
Right, right.
He used the four statements.
Okay.
He didn't
He didn't
use
use.
the tools. He didn't use the 12-step program. He didn't use C4, which it's interesting because I like it because I can do the four statements. It's
Right,
easy.
right. It's
My
easy.
wife
Yeah.
my wife loved all the other stuff. She loved all the different tools and the things. Look, it has a little pendulum and you can do, and and she loved all the other stuff. So,
Okay.
but that's great because
Yeah.
it really has a way for everybody to use it.
Right, right,
The way I choose to use it are the four statements.
right,
Now I do use the blue solar water only because as soon as we got back, I got some blue bottles, and since I had them, I might
right,
as well use.
right,
But
right.
my main thing was maintaining doing it. That's why I started doing the nudges and reminders, because it was mainly to remind me to do stuff. And I thought, well, since I'm doing it, maybe other people would be interested too.
So
So
I'm so glad you brought your book in, because I loved your book. Your volume one was so easy to read. I would read a whole lot of times. I would take parts of it from the book and share it with some of my close friends, or just share it. It was, in fact, yesterday I want to share with you. After we decided to connect, my husband, for instance, couple, has always been very resistant, and he would, look at it in a different way or try and challenge my thoughts. But yesterday I was able to tell him, listen, let's not resist, let's not challenge this, let's just read and listen. And by you sending the books yesterday, Bill, actually he was like, wow, Shilpi, why don't you read me a few passages before I go to sleep? And I was like, yeah,
oh,
that's great.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was so impressed. He said, wow, receiving books like this. And I was so excited because, so I wanted to share something like this. It says, A Nudge Towards Wholeness, from your book, the volume one. If you may, can I read it?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. One of my favorite things about Ho'oponopono is it keeps me in touch with the divine. With all that is going on around and within me, I sometimes forget where I came from. Ho'oponopono reminds me of the source, the healing love, and most of all, that it was this source of healing love that produced me. Ho'oponopono for me is a nudge towards wholeness, a nudge towards the joy life can be. How fun is that? Beautiful. Yeah. So
Thank you.
again, it centers you. It centers you. It's so simple to understand. Yeah.
You know what's fun about this is I find I'll either come up with a statement or I'll see a statement somewhere and I think, oh, I could do a little thing on that, and I don't
Right.
do it ahead of time. I just sit down, I post, I take a picture, I write it out and I take a picture of that to post, and then I just sit down and I just start typing it in and send.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not premeditated. It's all
Right.
spur of the moment, and I'm really impressed with that. It's when you see some of the Dr. Hulen videos, especially with Joe Vitale, one of the
Yes.
things, it was in his book too. He doesn't prepare for notes or anything for any of these classes he teaches. He just assumes divinity will direct him and tell him to make him say the right thing. And
So,
it's
yeah.
and he always would, even though there were over 300 people before he came to the class, he went through each person's name and did a cleaning on each person.
True.
And somebody
True.
said, well, why did you do that? He says, because I want to eliminate any baggage or trouble that you're bringing into my class.
Yeah.
He was funny. He was
That's
good.
fun. Yeah, he had a great sense of humor. Just give me a second, Bill. I'm just going to pause this and come back to you for a second. There's a bell on the door. 1 second.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. So yeah, I remember that bit. Okay, that's a great insight that you shared. I've also remember that he used to clean on the chair before people would sit, or like he would clean the room, right? He would clean
Right.
on the room. So when you're cleaning on the room, in effect, you're saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Right? Is that what you're trying to
Right.
say? Okay.
Exactly. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, I just do an introductory. I just tell people about Ho'oponopono and direct them to classes if they want more. I just want
Right.
to tell them beginning and what it meant to me. But even when I do that, I only have like 4 or 5, 6 people in my house. And before
Okay.
they come, I go around to each chair and I hold the chair and I say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I go
Okay.
around each chair just because I
Right.
know I hear Dr. Hulen talking about that, and I thought how it couldn't hurt anything.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and no
So
and nobody's watching. I'm home by myself.
yeah. So are you by yourself right now? Are you staying by
Yes, I
yourself?
am. I
Okay.
am.
How easy or how difficult is it?
Uh, you mean being by myself?
Yeah, being by yourself. What about your family,
I
your
actually
children?
it's I was married for 33 years,
Okay.
and so it's been a long time since I've been by myself. But
Mm-hmm.
I've really had, this is another thing because I do the Ho'oponopono all the time. Whenever I think of something, somebody comes up with an answer for me. It might not be me, but one of my
Right,
friends or relatives. It's like after my wife passed, I walk by the closet and I see all her clothes in there.
right.
Well, 2 days later, my cousins and her husband stopped by, and I told her, I'm not sure what to do. And she said, my cousin works with women's prison ministry when they get out of prison.
Okay,
And she
okay.
said, well, Deb would donate clothes to the women's prison ministry. I didn't know that,
Wow.
and I said, well, do you think they would take all these? They said they'd love to have them because she worked in retail and had to keep buying new clothes all the time.
Right,
And
right.
they said the clothes that Deb gives are better than, because a lot of people don't donate good stuff.
Yeah,
And
true,
so they
true.
were they were thrilled. So that day they took everything. It was like,
Amazing.
but it went to the place that Deb would have sent it. So
Yes, yes.
it fascinates me. I had a friend, Deb was a Beatles fan from
Okay,
11 years old. She had
okay,
a beautiful Beatles collection. And I
okay.
mentioned to a friend of mine, I said, I'm not sure what to do with all that. And she says, well, my son will sell stuff on eBay. He could do it for you. So he did that. And he sold the Beatles stuff he sold for over $2,000. You know, for her
Wow.
Barbie, she has some Barbie dolls. He sold those for $600. It was like, I mean, these are so the people are doing the stuff that I wasn't sure how to do or what to do.
Right,
Kind of like
right,
me
right.
trying to get on Zoom with you. I didn't know what I was doing, you know?
We figured it out. And I was,
Yeah.
so the thought about getting on Zoom just came in the morning because I thought Insta Live is there, but the freedom of speaking a lot more, was great on this. And it just came to me in the morning. I didn't think about it. And then Insta Live we tried, didn't work. So we're like, okay, great, we have a backup. So
Well,
nice.
this is, it worked out great. For some
Yeah,
reason, every time I hit send, it said request not sent. And so on Instagram. So this is actually better, I think.
I think so. Yeah, that's great. So how do you work with your students? Like, how do you take them on? Do you do sessions live or do you do it in person? How is it like
I
for you?
uh, I only wanted to do it in person and at my house. So I
Okay.
can take up to 9 people at a
Okay.
time. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
so and I just started doing it last fall, and then I did another class this spring, and
Okay.
and it's just actually I have a couple friends that do classes uh, of other things, and they sent out to all their email people because I had no list,
Right.
you know,
Right. Right. Right.
they helped me, and they got people in my classes for me, and
Wow.
uh, and and it's just I'm fascinated by it. And then the people that come, you know, I'll give them one of the books, you
Right.
know, so like that, and it's I'm fascinated. It's my main goal was I think this is so neat, so great. I love Ho'oponopono, but and Dr. Hugh Lin says don't tell people to do it.
You
Just
do it. You do
just
it.
do it, and if
Right.
they're interested, you can talk to them about it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but
Right.
because I think it's there's people I'm close to that they don't want to hear any more about it. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's 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 fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I
because
also
I think go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I also feel there's a lot of resistance to do it. Like I've shared it with some of my family members and they're like, no, we're not interested. Please, it just doesn't go down through us. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. But I also feel that as much as when you start, for me, I mean, I can speak this for myself, that when the Ho'oponopono lives were just told to me to do it, I also resisted to just do it. I wanted to know more so that I could do it, and I think the more I learned, the more I loved it, and it just went on, and I
Well,
just feel good.
what I like about it is they use the word divinity. So to me, that crosses all the faiths because
Right,
you're not saying God or Allah or Jehovah or anything. You're saying divinity, and that means something to everybody. You
right,
know,
right, right,
the first class I had Catholics and Protestants. I had a young Muslim woman. You know, and I just think that's and they were all receptive and open to it.
right,
So
right.
that I just think that's wonderful. I'll tell you a little
Sure.
funny story. It's an 8-hour drive to go down to Charlotte when we went down, took the class 17 years ago. On the way home, I'm in my mind, I'm going, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. You know, instead of mumbling out loud, I just driving along doing that. And all of a sudden I went, hey, wait a minute. This sounds suspiciously like husband training. You know, honey, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. You know, and my wife said, what's wrong with that? And I said, that's not why I went down here.
But either ways, the spouses doing it for each other or doing it with each other is absolutely amazing. Like for me, that aha moment came yesterday when my husband actually said, "Hey, can you read the book to me? I love it." And I was like, "Wow!" So it's actually, yeah. I mean, as you said, it's anything you start with "I love you" is actually a very nice feeling. I mean,
and
you're doing
finishes
it.
with that and
Yeah.
finishes with thank you. A grateful
Yeah,
heart, you know.
yeah, 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 totally. Yeah, good, good. And how have you ever traveled to India?
No, I haven't.
No, Bill, I would love
Yeah,
to host you then. I would love to host you. I live in
oh,
Gurgaon,
I think
Delhi.
it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Um uh I didn't think I would do I turned 75 last week or 2 weeks
Okay.
ago.
Okay.
So I've kind of toned down on my traveling. The thing is
Okay.
when my wife, being a big Hawaii fan, she wanted her ashes scattered in Hawaii in one of those ceremonies where you go out in a catamaran out in the ocean and put the
Okay.
ashes out and put the flowers out and everything like that. Well, you have to go out 5 miles in the ocean. Well, I'm
Okay.
not going out
Okay.
5 miles in the ocean in a rowboat.
Yeah.
So we found a bigger catamaran that we could all ride on, and
Right, right,
motorized, and
right.
they took us out, and
Okay.
we did all that, but the uh my son and his wife and my granddaughter had never been to Hawaii.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when we went and did this, I said, look, we're going to be there for 7 or 8 days. Whatever you want to do, let's do it, because when are you going to do this again?
Right, right.
And so we just did everything, and I know my wife would have been proud of them.
Oh,
Well, when we came back, they just said that was epic. That was the
yes,
best vacation ever. And I
right,
said, you
right,
know what? Why don't we, every couple of years, why don't we just go on an epic vacation?
right,
So
right.
this it's been 2 years. So this July we're gonna go to Europe. We're going on
Okay.
a Rhine River cruise from Switzerland down to Amsterdam.
Okay.
So but
Interesting.
if I can travel with my granddaughter, I can travel anywhere.
Yes.
She's amazing. She's 12 years old. I love it.
Yeah, that's nice. So they stay do they stay close to where you are?
Yeah, they're about 40 minutes from my house.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
That's
not bad.
convenient. Yeah, that's not. And do you drive? Are you independent, traveling around local?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's fabulous to know. Fabulous. And I'm so
Yes.
happy we connected today, Bill. So I'll just show you a picture right now. So yeah, is it clear? Is it a little clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's with your father, right?
Yeah, that's with my father. Yeah, this is clearer now. This is
Is
my
that your
father. It
brother? Is
was
that your brother
no,
or your father?
that's me and that's my husband. My husband
Okay.
is couple, and it was my father's birthday on the 8th of December. And we were there in Bombay to cut the cake for him, with him. And I had some friends over and we had a lovely time celebrating. And then soon after that, the dip started, and of course then but we were always
Sure.
mostly together as a family, and we would visit him since I live in Delhi and he lives in Bombay, and he would visit him. But this so what I realized yesterday, so one more thing I wanted to share with you. Whenever I tend to go a little low, or when the grief, so my grieving is now not as much in terms of crying. That also happens sometimes, and I feel that's also a good thing. It's a way of remembering and releasing. I tend to get a little tired when I'm doing something. I tend to get very consumed with energy around. So then what I try and do is I move around my house. I've got a beautiful home. We bought a lovely apartment here, and I try and move around and I just shift things here and there. So something told me, come, bring your father's picture that you love so much, bring it close to you, bring your affirmations close to you. So I love this table that I'm here on. It's a little table, but it's got a lot of my things. And I feel this is my sacred space, my divine space. This is
There
my
you go.
place. So I love it, and I'm so happy, and I'm really blessed, and I feel so happy that we've just connected. I'll share this another thing with you. I'll probably send you a picture of this on the Insta, but so these affirmations I put in front of me, and it says, I'm happy, I'm successful, I'm empowered, I'm generous, I'm a money magnet, I'm God's love, I'm capable of more, I'm wonderfully made, I've chosen to give best to myself, the best life ever. So I just
Mhm.
thought I'd share this with you. So I do like to read all this. I also wanted to share with you, Bill. When I see your Insta handle, it's so you just share lines that at least I connect with each one of them. And you'll see I like each one of them. I love your simplicity. And I'm sure, like, so when I see stuff which is happening on Instagram or there's a lot of focus on, you know, categorizing it or putting it in a way which, either with captions or like on your face. And I'm like, that's an energy I don't kind of season with. I love things to come to me. Things come to you, you enjoy them rather than
And that's
constantly
what
promoting
Ho'oponopono,
yourself. Yeah,
right? That's what Ho'oponopono is about.
yeah,
Opening
yeah.
so the thinking, and I've often tried to tell them, it's not that divinity is going to give you a specific answer. What
Right.
divinity is going to do is turn that memory into pure love. And you're going to respond out of love and we
Yeah.
don't know how you're going to respond,
Right.
but if you respond from love, it can't be that bad,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
you know,
it's so much of reworking our already programmed memories. And that's where the resistance comes to practice Ho'oponopono. But having said
exactly.
that, yeah, that's the resistance. It's tougher to beat your own resistance, which is so ingrained, like, like dug deep inside you for like centuries and for, I don't know, lifetimes. And when you start doing Ho'oponopono, I feel like I start feeling better. I start looking better. I feel like a new me. I want you to share a little more about your books. How did you start? I mean, are these the three books you've written, or have you read more? Have you been
Uh,
writing
these
more?
these are the three. The halo repair was something I did before I knew about Ho'oponopono, but it kind of fits in with
Yes,
Ho'oponopono.
it does. It does. And I
But
think
it's no longer in print. And it's not even though it comes up on Amazon, you can't they won't send it to you. They
I
don't have any.
am so happy I got it, Bill. I have to give you the warmest virtual hug to be a recipient of this book because it's just talking to me. It's like it's just sent through you from the divine. So it's like really nice. So I'm going to read anything that you'd like to read from the book. Read it out here on the Zoom.
From Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, no, from the Halo
Okay.
Repair. Anything that you like to read? I love
Yeah.
this line, one that you mentioned by Norman Cousins. Laughter is inner jogging. Oh, I loved it. I'm like, I'm going to do this again and again. I'm going to do it all the time.
Yeah, I think laughter is huge.
Yeah, yeah,
I love to laugh. I laugh at funerals. I try because I have happy memories of these people.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
True, true.
and speaking of funerals, it's like when my wife died in March. My father was 96 and he died in July. And then in February, my mother, who was 94, died. So within a year, I lost
A lot of
three
people,
close people.
right?
But
Yeah, yeah.
but I, I believe returning to your maker may be the
Yes,
greatest thing that ever happens to you. It just
right.
kind of ticks off the rest of us that are left behind.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because
I agree with
we
that.
want
Yeah.
we but I think that they're in a good place.
Yes,
I believe that.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's a lovely. So I also did that on my dad's prayer ceremony when we all spoke. We spoke and remembered him with a lot of love, and likewise with my mom. So both my parents, incidentally, Bill, are angels. One moved out in 2013, and my dad recently in 2024. And I always remember them with that kind of love. And I'm constantly. I still now I can't pick up the phone now. It's a direct divine and me talk. So
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's just
So
yeah.
let's see. Um, I'm gonna read one from the new book. It says
Okay.
my happiness wears a bulletproof vest.
Okay, can you tell me
It's
the page? Can you tell me
it's
the
on
page?
page 85.
And this is the Halo one?
Uh, uh,
The Halo.
no,
Oh, okay, okay, sure, I'll take it. Oh, I
the
love
new book.
this. Okay, sure, go
Wears a
ahead.
bulletproof vest. The poetry bandit. And I
Yeah.
said, brilliant. Isn't that where you want to be? Ho'oponopono can be that vest if you allow it. If you wear it all the time, be diligent, be patient, be happy. Oh, what a wonderful life. And I think it's that simple.
Yeah,
I think since
absolutely.
Ho'oponopono is simple, I try to keep my nudges simple. And like I say, I write a lot of them to push myself or remind myself. And I thought, why not put it in a book? Matter of fact, I had somebody that follows me, and she said, you know what? She says, I have your books, but you know what would be good is if you put your Instagram post in there. I said, my books are my Instagram posts,
Right.
you know. And she goes, oh. I says, what you're reading now will be book 3. You know.
Right, right. No, it's amazing. And Bill, let's put this in our intention to come that you travel to Delhi. I will host you. You will stay in my house. I have the room where I'm speaking from is my guest room, and you will be here. Uh, just a second, Bill. There's someone at the door. One sec. Yeah. So we have in India, we always have privileges of someone coming in and tending to our plants and doing a little thing.
Oh,
So
that would
yeah,
I'm honored that you would invite me. I don't know if I'll
of
ever make it,
course.
but
No,
you
no, we
never know.
set the
I,
intention.
I don't know what life has planned for me.
Listen, Bill, I feel if we've been connected like this, okay, with no one telling me or giving me a reference or nothing, we've just aligned and connected, then the way is only forward. Okay, only
Well,
forward.
when you wrote, you were one of the kind people that wrote a review for my book.
Yeah,
A lot of people said they liked it, but nobody said why, like you did. That's why I
yeah.
got a hold of you and asked if I could use that on the back of this second book.
I mean,
You
that's
know, and
amazing.
so,
So a lot of things in India, if you say it, it's like taken for granted. It's like it's ours. But I just felt so happy that you're messaging me and asking me. And ever since then, it was like this was excitement and a constant little cheer up from the divine that, hey, Shilpi, you're not alone. I'm watching over you. You're on the path. You're right there. And everything that you've done up until now has been fabulous. So just go ahead and be at it. So yeah.
well,
So
the
that's it.
address you gave me was one of the most complicated
Yeah.
addresses I ever saw in my life. So I was so concerned that it wasn't going to make it.
Uh, no, you
And
sent it
when I
as
filled out the form, I didn't know where to put everything. There was just,
yeah. But it came to me so well, so I'm so happy that I received it and yeah, fabulous. I think we this is just the beginning, Bill. I think we're going to have so many more interactions. I know there's so many more people who are going to connect to you. It's just the beginning and India is going to welcome you with open arms. I'm the first one. I'm gonna do that. I'm putting it today.
well,
I'm right now telling the divine, dear divine, Bill is coming to India. He's coming to
if I
Gurgaon and
come to
he's staying with
India,
me.
if I come to India, there's no place I would rather go.
Yeah, wow. So it's lovely, right? So yeah, it's just nice. So anything else that you want to share? And maybe the next time we'll connect again, but anything else you want to share?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. It's just that it's fascinating, but you have to pay attention. You
Yes.
know, I have just a quick story. I have a
Yes.
cousin who was trying to make a decision, and she kept praying on it. And her son wants her to move out to Montana, which is 3,000 miles away. You know, and
Right.
the husband, then all of a sudden, her husband ended up in the hospital. And then the next time the son said, "Well, when can you come out?" Then something else happened, and she says, "I just keep looking for a sign." I said, "You're getting signs all the time that's telling you not to go." I said, I can see him, but you're not. She must want a handwritten note or something. I don't know.
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
so
it's
yeah, that's
practice and pay attention.
pay attention. Totally, totally. Yeah.
Yes,
So lovely. So also want to ask you that when you recite Ho'oponopono, do you do it with music in the background? Do you do it with beads, or do you just say it?
I just do it in my head.
Okay.
Sometimes when I'm walking around the house, I might say it out loud, but and I do it while I'm driving a lot, and consequently, I don't really run into bad drivers or anything
Right,
anymore.
right, right.
Or maybe
Wow.
I'm just more forgiving. You know,
Right.
that might be true too. You know,
Yeah, and do you also use the fifth line, I forgives myself? Do you use that as well?
no, I don't.
You don't.
No,
You don't.
I don't
Okay.
use that one. I
Okay.
just use the four,
Four lines.
and
Okay.
the reason, like I say, the main reason I do it is, as the more I studied it and the more I realized that those are the four statements that Dr. Hugh Lin used at the prison. He was there for 4 years. It took him a long time,
Yeah,
granted,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but whenever you hear him tell the story, he just talks about sometimes he'd only use two of them, sometimes he'd use
Mm,
all four of them, but
mm,
he would just, he didn't do the other stuff. And it's not that
mm,
I don't believe in the other stuff. It's just
mm,
that I'm lazy enough that I don't want to do them. You know, I don't want to
mm.
do 12 steps. I want to, I just want to be able to go mumble, "I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you." I got my Ho'oponopono
Ah, I
shirt on.
love that. I love that. That's so amazing. Did you get it made by yourself? Did you have it
No,
done by yourself?
I found it online.
Oh, you found it online. That's such a
Yeah.
nice thing. Do you also say in India, they also tell us to take 100% responsibility and then you say, or you just say, yeah, you do that because 100% responsibility is when you decide to
Every
clean on it.
if it comes into your life,
Yeah,
it's your responsibility.
it's your
You know, it's like Dr.
responsibility.
Hugh Len would say, you know, well, if somebody comes in and tells me a problem, well, there must be a reason. I guess I have to clean on it. You know, so I mean, maybe that's why I'm living in a house by myself like a hermit, you know.
Yeah. So
But
does
I'm
that
not.
mean
I
you
get
get out?
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so good. That's so good. And so awesome to talk to you, Bill. It was lovely today talking. I'm going to share this on the YouTube and share the link with you as well, and maybe
I
connect
appreciate that.
again. Yeah, I really enjoyed, and I hope we connect again. I'm going to read your books again and again and keep sharing my bit on it. I also want to share that why I loved your book so much was so simple, so easy, and a little one that you can just fit in your bag everywhere. What
And
really draws me, yeah, just
just
open
open
it.
it anywhere.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
open and yeah, it's so lovely. And the most important thing is that we just connected like this. The Zoom happened. So I'm sure going forward, a lot more things are going to happen. Also, I like it is that it's not promoting anything. It's not pushing something for you to change. It's just, in fact, telling you that, okay, just
Here's
pay
what works for
attention.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This and I often end a lot of these with, well, this is what works for me. This,
Right.
it makes me feel good. It makes me have joy.
Right. Right.
Because I thought by just set the example, here's what it's done for me. If you would like that for you, give it a
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
It might,
Give it a
if
shot.
it doesn't work for you, do something else,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Super. And tell me,
I
how do you pronounce your surname? It's Bill Fiest or Feist? How do you say it? What do you say?
feist,
Feist. I got
feist.
it right. Yeah, I said Bill
Yes.
Feist. Okay. Okay,
Yes.
great, great. And any other languages? What are the other languages that you speak?
Um, I don't speak any other languages.
English and the heart of Ho'oponopono, the language of Ho'oponopono. Yes?
Well, yeah. Matter of
Okay.
fact, when they teach the Ho'oponopono class, the one when I
Yes.
learned it, he says a lot of stuff in Hawaiian, and like
Yeah.
he gives subconscious and conscious and super
Yeah,
conscious
yeah,
Hawaiian
yeah,
names.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't use
Uh,
those. It just confuses me.
It
You
does,
know,
it
even
does.
even when I
Yeah.
teach the class, I just say your inner child or subconscious mind. I don't try to say the Hawaiian words because I just
Yeah.
have trouble. Well, even Dr. Hugh Lin, Halakala,
Yeah,
for his
yeah.
first name,
Yes,
his
yes,
first
yes.
name is Stanley.
Yes.
Morna
Okay, yeah,
gave him
Stanley. Yeah, yeah, Stanley.
gave him a Hawaiian name,
Yes, yes.
so I mean I understand keeping it Hawaiian and everything, but I think the love part of it's the thing that needs to be in and being
Yeah.
open to divinity.
True, true, true. So true. So great. So great. Lots of love and hugs to you. Bill, sleep well. When you mentioned yesterday that today was not a good day, anything in particular that you couldn't do it yesterday?
I just had a lot of things on the table to get
Okay.
taken care of today.
Okay, fine, fine.
So,
So anyway,
but as we get into the evening, this is ever since I've been living alone, I kind of stay up late and well, I don't have any reason to get up in the morning,
right,
any
right,
specific thing to go to or
right,
something like
right.
that. So
Okay,
I can
okay.
stay up late and watch the movies I want to watch or whatever. So
Okay, okay, great, great, great. Lovely, lovely connecting with you, Bill. And we have each other on Instagram to connect as much and as often. And thank you so much. I will always cherish the fact that you reached out to me that day. That's a memory very, very clear in my life. And I'm so happy and so blessed. Thank you.
well, I just I was so touched by your comments that I thought if you're willing, I'd love to put your comment on the back of the book. And
Hey, Bill, you're going to hear so many more comments from me. Every time I get past some part of the book and it's like stirs me up, you're going to get a comment or a time you're going to say, okay, Shilpi, keep your comments to yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to stop. I love what I'm doing. I love your book. And it's given me that confidence that Shilpi, whatever your thoughts are, go put it out. Someone will be happy doing it, reading it. And, you're so simple and Bill just set that as an intention today that you're coming to Gurgaon and you're going to come and stay with. I'm your
hey,
India. You can consider
I,
me your India friend. Yeah.
I'm open to it. I'm just not making plans.
Okay. That'll happen.
How's that?
We'll root it to the divinity. Okay. We don't have to make plans. It'll be rooted and it'll happen. Okay. That's how
Very
I
good.
say it. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Bill. This was super beautiful and I'm so happy. I'm so happy with it.
Thank you.
Can I request you to send me a picture of your books? Or maybe I can take it from the Insta. If you can send it to me on the Instagram. Okay. Okay.
These
Wait. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just take it like that. I'll take a picture right away.
Okay.
Okay. Can you put the pictures? Okay, just a sec.
Yeah,
Okay, Bill, actually the light is coming too much, so it's not very clear. So just send me, yeah, okay, just a sec. Yeah,
all
one
right.
sec. Yeah, you know, there's light on your pitch on your camera also. So maybe you
Right.
can just take a picture and send it to me on the Insta and I'll just put out right away. Okay?
Okay.
Thank
I can do
you.
that.
Sleep well, sleep tight. Lots of love, Bill.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
I'm not sure.